What up guys, it is Justice here and welcome back to Runescape. In this video we're going to be covering off a amazing perk that you can use for when you're PVMing. It is awesome, okay? So this is going to be the Crackling Perk. I'm sure PVMers out there who are listening to this right now have heard rumors around this perk, and maybe you're even using this yourself already. It's pretty awesome, and it can be used in various different PVM situations. I'll go through where the best situations are and where you're probably not going to want to use it for certain reasons. So what is it? Well, it's an invention perk that periodically zaps the target for 50% weapon damage per rank in PVM, or 10% per rank in PvP. So let's say you have the Crackling 3 perk, that will give you 150% weapon damage, and that'll be base ability damage when it does periodically zap the target. So the damage output that you're getting from it is quite substantial throughout a fight. The damage is classed as a magic hit, which is fairly interesting. So it's not that useful at Nex if you're doing range only kills, as the damage will be reflected back onto you if Nex is praying protect from magic, which is a lot of the time if you're doing range only kills. If you're using it Vorago, it's very good to use it Vorago. People might have heard that duo Vorago without using insta-kill darts or anything like that is now doable on certain rotations, and that is really interesting. Eventually, God knows, at this rate it might be soloable, but of course then you'd have to find out a way of being able to jump around Vorago and then keep it voked in the spot and all sorts. But all we know now is that it's gone from a 10-man boss on release now down to a duo boss fight if you're capable enough to do it, and only on certain rotations, but it's very difficult. But either way, even if you're in a normal standard Vorago team, the Crackling perk is absolutely fantastic there. But do beware that it does periodically zap the target. So let's say on reflex, it will zap the target still, so you could PK somebody. So in that instance, recommendation is to use the perk, so augment, let's say, seismics, but augment the singularity and perk up the singularity with crackling. So don't use Crackling perk on the actual wand, and it'll still deal the same damage output. You can swap the singularity for a shield then in the reflex so you don't PK anybody. Because yeah, a hard mode situation, it could be pretty dire if you've got like 10 plus people all with the Crackling perk on and they've not got it on their singularity. There's going to be people who are going to get PK'd in that situation. And when talking to the clan about it, supposedly they took a team yesterday and it did happen, and it was hilarious. So I can imagine it being just amazing to look at, though. Amazing experience to actually just see that happening and no one really realizing what the heck is going on. So yeah, that would be pretty funny. It seems to have 100% accuracy, so it won't splash, so boss weakness really doesn't seem to matter. Players are kind of wishing it was classed as typeless damage though, but I guess that's where more thought goes into how you use it, and it may have been done on purpose by Jax, or it has been done on purpose, maybe to prevent from using it next range only kills and other instances potentially linked to God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses that are coming out. So overall, the Crackling perk is fantastic, where there's no magic reflect capability, as it is classed as a magic hit. And how do you make the Crackling perk? Well, the best ways, or one of the best ways, is using explosive components. There is a chance either to get Crackling or Ultimatum. Just use all 5 slots up with explosive components. I'll confirm this though for the video. So yeah, we're back to the hand cannons again, guys. So definitely worth using to break down for those explosive components. Now, I did test out a few different components. Now, this is what worked for me. This might not work for everybody, and to be honest, I must have been extremely lucky. But I used magical parts, so I took up 1 slot with magical parts and then 4 slots with explosive components, and every time I did that I had a 50% chance of getting Crackling, so I got 2 Crackling perked up gizmos out of 4 gizmo attempts. You might want to try imbued as well, or just all explosive components. When breaking down a hand cannon, it will give you 7 explosive components. You can also have the Crackling perk on an armor gizmo as well, so you don't have to attach it to one of your weapons. You can attach it to one of your armor pieces, and therefore you can decide on what approach you want to take with this. Other good DPS perks to put on your weapons are the Equilibrium and Precise perk, and I did mention the Precise perk on my Invention perk combination video, and that has been buffed since and can be very effective. As you saw on this video, I decided to put Precise on my Seismic wand. The next thing I want to do is, when I find some time, I want to go and test out some tanking perks being attached to tier 80 Nex armor, which can be very, very effective when carrying out tanking roles, and also perks such as Impatient that you can put onto your armor, which are occasionally grants you extra adrenaline. I reckon this is something I'd like to cover off and is probably in the pipeline for this channel. I have also heard rumors of this Renown Biting perk, more specifically the rank 3 version, and it increases your critical hit chance. This is an armor gizmo, can be very expensive to obtain, and therefore for the very high tier PVMers who have a lot of spare cash because it requires noxious components, therefore I've not covered it in this video. I personally don't have the cash to fork out and go and disassemble one of my noxious weapons at the moment, but if you are going to look into this and you are going to do it, then just make sure to level up your noxious weapon first before you disassemble it to get some more noxious components out of it. For example, if you disassemble the weapon, let's say at level 9, it will give you quadruple the materials. And one thing I do want to know, by the way, with the God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses coming out soon, would you guys like to see me go in there headfirst solo straight away? Or would you like me to get viewers involved, get my friends chat involved, and go in there with teams and try and farm the loot, get used to the mechanics in teams, even though eventually I am going to be aiming to solo them all because that's what they're intended to be like for maxed players. So either way, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching as always. Make sure to give this video a like if you want to see more testing videos in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.